Hey, everybody. Thanks for joining us on this Tuesday. I'm CJ LeMaster, your host for the WLBT Plus Digital News Desk update for this Tuesday, November 4th, Election Day for many of you in parts of central Mississippi. Also, your lead investigative reporter here for WLBT. Hope you're having a great week so far. Still a little cool, but it's been relatively nice, so enjoy that while we can, right? We want to tell you again, because today is Election Day, that, of course, there was a lot of preparation that went into that, particularly among members of the Hinds County Election Commission. Polls have been open since 7 this morning. A variety of races will be decided throughout the Magnolia State. Now, election commissioners have been making final preparations in Hinds County, where residents will vote today for a new coroner. Parts of the county will also help choose a new state senator for District 26. That, if you remember, is the seat that was left vacant when John Horn, former state senator, was elected to be mayor of Jackson. All 108 precincts in Hinds County will be open. Commissioners say they're expecting a low turnout, but they're hoping voters prove them wrong. Ballots will vary, of course, depending on where you live.
Some will have school board and some will have Senate 26, but no one will have more than 2 races on their ballot. That's the most anybody will have.
There are a couple of changes in precinct locations as well. You can find all the details right now on our website, WLBT.com. And as we said, we have a couple of races that we're watching. And so we want to make sure and give you the names of the candidates in those races, just to give you an idea of who's going to be on the ballot. So when you go in there, that you're not, incredibly surprised by what you see. So for Hinds County coroner, we have the following individuals who are running in that coroner's race: Crystal Houston, Jeremiah Howard, Stephanie Meacham, Shawana Roberts, also 2 additional members as well, or 2 additional candidates, I should say, Davista Tillman and Brian White. Now, they are running in a special election following the retirement of Sharon Grisham Stewart at the end of last year. She had been a longtime coroner here in Hinds County, but had recently come under fire for those deaths that were people who were buried in the Pauper Cemetery. And in many cases, from our reporting, from NBC's reporting, family members had not been notified. They had no idea that their family members were actually, some didn't even know that our family member had died, and much less that they were buried in a pauper cemetery, which is typically reserved when people either have no family, where family has not been able to be notified, or when family cannot afford a burial. Again, Jeremiah Howard has been serving as coroner, was appointed by the Hinds County Board of Supervisors to serve as coroner on an interim basis per state law until this election. We also want to tell you about that state Senate race, as we mentioned, for District 26. Several candidates in that nonpartisan race. Here is the first list there. 7 candidates in all. Voters in parts of Hinds and Madison counties are participating in this race. You've got Coleman Boyd, Jermaine Cooley, Letitia Johnson, Teresa Kennedy, and we have a few more as well. Oh, wait, I forgot to name. I apologize. Kamisha Mumford right there on the bottom. We had 5 on the first one, 2 on the second. So again, Coleman Boyd, Jermaine Cooley, Letitia Johnson, Teresa Kennedy, Kamisha Mumford, and then James Pittman and Jeffrey Stallworth round out that list. If no one gets, here's the rule for the runoffs, because we have 7 running in this race. 50% plus 1 is basically what we have to have. So if somebody comes in and they get a majority, they get 43%. Then the top 2 candidates are going to a runoff. If that top vote getter gets 50% plus 1 vote, then they're the winner, and we don't have to worry about a runoff election in 2 weeks. We're also following a story, just a tragic situation here in the capital city, a family searching for answers after their loved one was hit by a car over the weekend in the capital city. Now, the accident happened just after 7:30 Saturday night on Terry Road. The victim identified as 48-year-old Isaac James Curtis. Now, police say Curtis was hit as he walked into the street from a gas station, and they said the driver could not have avoided him. Curtis's family members are devastated, still trying to come to terms with what happened.
My people them hurt. All my family crying. We all crying. This hurt when you lose a loved one. But I want justice, though. I just want justice. That's all I want.
Now, the family set up a makeshift memorial, near the site of the accident. Police say the driver is not likely to be charged in Curtis's death, but the driver was cited for not having insurance. A couple of you saying hello on this election day. First off, Melissa Price. Hope you're doing well, Melissa. Thank you for saying, giving a shout out to everybody. Britt saying happy Tuesday. This weather had my allergies all over the place. Yeah, I talked to Dave about that yesterday at the 5 o'clock, because when you have temperatures going up and down, we could even see some 80-degree temperatures by the end of the week or this weekend. And so when that happens in Mississippi, it just kind of feels like our sinuses just go haywire. A lot of people having the crud, I guess you might call it, or varying degrees of sickness, whether it's viral or something else. So please rest up, make sure you're well hydrated, have medicine on standby in case you're feeling bad. Torsha Wood saying hello, everyone. Have a terrific Tuesday, and don't forget to vote. That's a great sentiment. Again, polls are open until 7 o'clock p.m. tonight. If you're in line, like let's say you get into line and it's 6:55 and the line's long, you still are going to be able to vote. As long as you're in line before 7, you're going to be just fine. So make sure that you do that. It's your civic duty. What is it they always say? You can't complain if you don't vote. Hey, that's debatable, but you should always do what you can to vote out there, even if you don't really know who's running. Try to figure out if you can get an idea, talk to friends, talk to family members, research the person, see what their positions are, and make an informed decision when you go in. Hey, listen, you can also write in who you want as well. And just remember, though, even if you had like a ton of people write in Mississippi, those write-in candidates can actually be considered. So like if somebody wrote in, I'm going to pick at Britt. If somebody wrote in Britt's name and enough people wrote her in that she actually got more votes than the top person who was actually qualified, under state law, she still couldn't get it, because again, you have to be qualified in the process. So the write-in is kind of more of a protest vote, if you will. It's I'm going to write in this person because nobody else that's in this list is anybody that I would support for the position. Annie Riddle saying hello. Hope you're doing well, Annie, on this Tuesday. Jammer McLean saying hello. Thank you for the election updates. It's important. We just want to make sure that everybody knows about it. And again, especially while we have plenty of time still left to vote. Janice Crawford saying it's a beautiful day. Vote. It is. It is absolutely gorgeous outside. Andrew Christian saying the same thing. Please vote today. Very important. And we appreciate everybody out there who's exercising their civic duty. Hopefully it won't be a low turnout, even though it's a few races in there. And some people, it's not a statewide election in terms of statewide candidates. It's not like governor or anything like that. It's not a national election. We don't have, a lot of, I say we have more locally important races than we do statewide or nationally important. And so sometimes what will end up happening is that you won't see people wanting to come out when it's local races. We have somebody in the Facebook chat saying to vote for a particular person. And I appreciate your sentiment, but I'm going to go ahead and delete that comment because we don't need to be pushing a particular person. And I'm definitely not going to put those up here. The 7 candidates we listed for State Senate District 26, the 5 individuals we listed, or maybe it was 6 that we listed for Hinds County Coroner. There's no preferential treatment here on anybody. So as much as I appreciate folks getting in on the conversation and everything, we are not going to put up, in terms of comments up here, I'm not going to put up any comments pushing a particular candidate. That's your decision. That's your decision to make when you go into that polling location, when you go to sit down and mark that, mark that oval with whoever you want. So just make sure that you do that. And if you see problems at the when you're going out to vote, if you see that there may be a candidate there who's actually not supposed to be there and is telling people who to vote for, report it, please. Call us. Let us know, because we definitely want to make sure folks are following the law. You can't campaign within 150 feet of a polling place. Sometimes candidates forget that. We have some other stories we want to get to also. And again, we are now approaching day 35 of this government shutdown. Potential agreement to extend Affordable Care Act subsidies appears to be possible in Washington. Now, that's where we are at this point. That issue, of course, at the heart of this shutdown. A 4-member bipartisan group of House lawmakers announced yesterday an outline for how to potentially extend those subsidies. What the group calls a statement of principles would extend subsidies for 2 years, but it would also include certain eligibility caps and guardrails. All of this seems to indicate that rank and file lawmakers on both sides of the aisle are working to end this shutdown stalemate. But it's not clear whether party leadership has signed off on this proposal.
We will sit down with any Republican who is prepared in good faith to find a bipartisan path forward to reopening the government, to entering into a spending agreement that actually makes life better for the American people, not worse, and that decisively addresses the Republican healthcare crisis.
Tomorrow will mark the beginning of the 8th week of this government shutdown. Right now, it's tied for the longest in U.S. history, but it will become the longest in U.S. history after today. Well, the Trump administration says it's going to partially fund SNAP benefits. We first told you about that yesterday as the government shutdown continues, but we don't know exactly what the time frame for that looks like. Now, this announcement, of course, coming after a pair of judges' rulings required the administration to keep the food aid program running. Again, it's not clear how much beneficiaries will receive or how soon they're going to see the funds in their accounts. The process of loading benefits on SNAP cards can take up to 2 weeks in some states. Here in Mississippi, the Mississippi Department of Human Services released a statement saying it's not yet received any guidance from the USDA, but they told us that once a directive has been received and they were able to formulate a plan to distribute funds to clients, they will notify the public via their website and social media, and we will wait for that to happen. And of course, as soon as that happens, we will let you know on air and online. We're going to close with an obituary, a little bit unusual, I know, but again, this was not something I think that some of us may have expected today. Did not realize that he was this old. A man described as the most powerful vice president in modern history. Whether you loved him or you hated him, has died. Dick Cheney was the country's 46th vice president, serving with Republican President George W. Bush for 2 terms between 2001 and 2009. Of course, most remembered for being one of the most powerful, especially during 9/11. He had also worked in the White House under Presidents Nixon, Ford, and George H.W. Bush. After leaving office, Cheney returned to private life, penning 2 memoirs, one about his personal and political career and the other about his struggles with heart disease. Of course, he had 5 heart attacks over the course of his life. Cheney died of complications from those health conditions. He was 84 years old. And we appreciate everybody joining us today. Listen, before we go, Sheikah Hampton, Look at all these hearts. Look at this. Look at that. Okay, she snuck in. She snuck in a smooch in there too. That's very nice. Sheikah, very nice. Look at you. Always injecting positivity into our day, and I really appreciate that. I hope you're having a wonderful day as well. We've got a couple other people saying hello as well. And looks like we've got somebody that might be sending some spam comments. So let's go ahead and, listen, folks, this is the wild, wild web. We, instead of the World Wide Web, sometimes it's the wild, wild web with the kind of things that people send us. So don't give in to it. If something looks suspicious, don't click on it. Please don't. I tell my mom that just about every day. We hope you're going to have a good rest of your day. There's still plenty of time to vote if you haven't done so yet. If you haven't had a chance to get lunch, I'm going to go grab something after I get out of here. We're going to leave you with a word from our sponsor, Jackson Water, but we also want to let you know that our First Alert Weather team will be in here at 2:30 to give you an update on what to expect tonight, the rest of your week, and as we get closer and closer to the National Folk Festival here in Jackson, this 3-day event kicking off Friday night. This is a big deal. We've not had a multi-day concert event like this magnitude, since Jubilee Jam in Jackson, in downtown Jackson. And you remember how long ago that was. We're talking, 15, 20 years ago? It was a long time. Cathead Jam, of course, goes on for a couple of days. It's on a certain part there at the Cathead Distillery right off of Farish. But in terms of a major concert event with multiple stages, we've not seen it since Jubilee Jam, and it's going to be exciting to see it coming to the capital city. We're going to have coverage on that in our early evening newscasts, as well as we look to just how long it's been since we've seen something like that here, and some people asking about security concerns. We're looking at that, and you have to understand too, it's not just about concerns about people bringing firearms to events, stuff like that. If you look at what happened in New Orleans, and that person plowing through a crowd and the having to put up barricades after that. Jackson Police, Capitol Police, the Hinds County Sheriff's Department are also looking at ways to protect the crowds that are expected. Between 30 and 50,000 people are expected here in the capital city over the course of those next 3 days, Friday through Sunday, 300 artists, 6 different stages. Please, if you get the chance, it's free. It's free to come out and enjoy it. And it looks like it's going to be a pretty exciting time. Again, here's our word from our sponsor, Jackson Water. I'm CJ LeMaster, your lead investigative reporter for WLBT and the WLBT news desk on WLBT Plus. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you have a great rest of your Tuesday.
From Jackson Water, is it okay to pour fats, oils, and greases down the drain if I run hot water?
No!
What if I run the garbage disposal?
No!
How about if I use dish soap at the same time?
No!
Instead, hang on to a few containers to store and toss old cooking fat and grease once you're done. Jackson Water. Water for all the time.